From this moment,
From this moment,
from this moment,
you will not dictate to me
how I feel about myself.
Ever again.
ever, ever, ever again. I know who I am.
I'm becoming who I am.
I am a bright light.
I am a bright light.
I am a bright light.
And I'm ready to shine.
Hi, my name is Gina Otto. When I was a little girl, I always knew that I wanted to make a difference in the world, but I didn't know where to start. So I grew up and wound up in Hollywood, working in the film industry, doing movies, TV, and commercials, until one day I had one of those life-changing moments while I was filming a Diet Cola commercial. Suddenly, it hit me. This was an industry that uses anorexic models to sell Diet Cola to teenage girls. So I quit. A 12-year career. I didn't want to be a part of the problem. I wanted my life to mean more.
Cassandra was strolling along. Cassandra was singing a sing-along song.
I was journaling one night and it came out of me in one long sentence. A children's story called Cassandra's Angel. And my life has never been the same since.
I guess I'm too different was Cassandra's next thought, but she did not like that story. No, she did not.
Cassandra's Angel is about the stories that we are given from the people in our lives about who they think we are, and then dropping those stories so that we can become who we came here to be.
Dear Miss Otto, I am 13 and I have completely fallen in love with your book.
Dear Gina, I don't have the words to describe the emotions and thoughts I had while reading your book.
Dear Gina, I am 16 years old. I read the book and cried the whole time. It feels like it was written just for me.
Do you want to play ball? Asked Cassandra with glee. Do you want to come over and play with me? My little book was affecting children and adults in a very special way.
My favorite part in the book is when she meets the angel and the angel tells her that she's a bright light and you can shine.
I'm kind of a cynical and skeptical old guy and I don't believe in angels. But I couldn't get through the book, and I've tried it 2 more times since then in front of a live audience of family members, and I can't read it all the way through out loud without crying.
I began speaking to girls and women about all of the different issues that they were facing. And not only were they listening, they began telling me about all of the stories of their lives.
I think Cassandra's Angel spoke to me on a bunch of different levels because I was always that little girl that was told that she was doing it wrong, or she was being too loud, or there was just something not right about the way I was behaving. And that always bothered me because I felt like people didn't understand me.
So one day I get a call from a 13-year-old Girl Scout named Caitlin, and her troop wanted to write a curriculum on self-esteem for the girls of the United States based on Cassandra's Angel.
We had just started looking for our Silver Award project, and we had previously done a program about accepting other people, no matter what. And we thought that that was a great program, but it was missing something, and it kind of dawned on us that it was missing the accepting yourself.
But like after the first page, I was hooked, and by the end of that, I remember we were all just like crying, because I think it hit us all at a very deep and personal level. Like we all had something like that, you know, like we'd all been told we weren't good enough,
We all found that connection with Cassandra in some part of the book.
And then I get invited to corporate headquarters for Girl Scouts USA in New York. And we began working together on some really exciting programs, changing the conversation for girls in America. So shine brightly, Cassandra, and help light the way. And that is the secret I bring you today. So one night I was meditating, and I saw Cassandra go to the rock, throw her arms back, and sing, I Am.
I am more than what they see, and I have finally found the truth. I have it now, and now I know that deep inside my soul, I found the truth in me.
This wasn't just a book, it was a musical.
Too bad you're never gonna fit in head. If you think we're gonna give it in, it's so sad.
The next thing I knew, I was invited to New York to develop Cassandra's Angel into a musical. Now, making a Broadway musical is not that easy, but that is a whole different story. I have this amazing friend named Jeanette Barber who won 6 Emmys and is a best-selling author, and I wanted her to help me develop the show.
In all of this time, I had never watched the video of the first version, the smaller version that she had already done in Denver. We sat down, we watched it. Of course, I started crying in the first song. Have no idea why. I never cry, never. But I loved it.
So every single day for 45 days, I would walk across Central Park to Jeanette's apartment. And we would sit and pick a scene. And we would talk about what the scene meant. And we would talk about what things were like when we were little. And we would talk and talk and talk in normal speak. And then suddenly, I would sit down and the whole thing would come out in verse.
Gina talks in rhyme. She literally just comes out of her like that. But we'd be sitting there in the beginning. We've got this song about the townspeople. Every day is like another.
Every day is like another. You see the things you always see. Life's the same and nothing changes. Where we are is where we want to be.
And the way that started is we're going, well, what would they say? What is the problem? And I remember this because I'm going, okay, here's what they're doing. Because we'd ask each other questions and the answers became our script. And so she'd say, what is it? What is it? And I go, here's what they're doing. What it really is it boils down to every single day is the same thing. Whatever happens yesterday is happening today. And you know what? Life blows.
Quiet, please. We're going to start on 17 with the stage directions. Quiet, please.
Where do I go? Where can I run?
Everything was coming together perfectly. We assembled some of the most talented cast and crew on Broadway, and we were about to workshop the new version of the show for the first time.
Cassandra enters, strolling and singing through the town. Everywhere she walks, we see flowers, trees, and other parts of the set light up in color. I just didn't know if you wanted to get hung up on the 6-foot radius thing. Yeah,
Perfect.
things like that.
So one of the things that you have to do when you're going to turn a 32-page children's book into a full-length Broadway musical is you have to develop everything. It has to get much more complicated and more intricate. So what we did, we took the mayor, who in the book comes in at the very end, and we turned him into Cassandra's father, which made the whole story very different.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. As soon as I get a minute, I'm gonna change the world. As soon as I get a minute, I'll play with my little girl. As soon as I get a minute, I'll build my wife a castle. As soon as I get a minute, I'll give up all this hassle. But for now, I'll be right back. I'll be right there. I'll get there soon. Of course I care. I know I said, you know I meant. I promise tomorrow. That's my intent.
We wrote a song for the mother. In the original script, that character wasn't as developed, so we were trying to get a little bit more into this one. And I think it's one of the funniest songs in the musical.
Life is a yes, no, yes, no, yes. We all have to sing along.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes.
Life is a series of choices we're making. We're getting it right or we're always mistaken. We try so hard, but we're sometimes faking our way through the yes, no song.
She ran into the house and then down the hall. She was just going to grab her red rubber ball when her mother's voice rang. While doing presentations to raise funding and awareness for Cassandra's Angel, I was introduced to Ralph Swerman, the president of an organization that does humanitarian work around the world.
I met Gina at a conference on Darfur, and what struck me was her natural curiosity about the issues and how excited she was to be a part of this conference. And we started talking about her project, about the emphasis on self-esteem and giving young girls confidence. And it struck a chord with me almost immediately because it is one of the projects and one of the themes that we are working on in a way in our international work. We spent 6 weeks on the road in Asia, going to some very, very remote and difficult parts. Gina was our guest, and there was a very special reaction and interaction between Gina and the young girls that we came across in many of the cities and countrysides that we were in. We were concerned if the themes that Gina would be talking about to these young girls would actually cross the language barrier, cross the cultural barrier. And it was quite intriguing and almost miraculous to see that the themes that Gina focuses on, empowerment and self-confidence and self-esteem, are quite universal, in fact.
Oh, this is exciting. Can I sign your book?
Yes, please.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Your story is very useful for us, especially for teenagers. This book really relates to Sri Lanka because it helps us to overcome this reputation talk about how we should somehow keep our place in society and instead of being who we are.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any effort that is made that will bring attention and, as Gina likes to say, shine some light on a very, very difficult problem, which is the placement that young girls have in society. Anything that can draw them away from the hopelessness that they normally encounter in these poverty-stricken areas comes with a sense of relief. And we know, based on all of the knowledge and the trends that we've seen, that taking care of young girls in the developing world is one of the key factors in trying to keep society healthy.
What we're doing with the girls, we're going through and we're saying, these are the issues in the world. You know, this is what's happening in the world. Choose one issue that you're passionate about, and then we will systematically take you through the steps of how you can lend your voice and your love and your passion and your resources and your time. For 10 years, I've been wandering around the country of the United States, reading my story and inviting girls to find their light, and inviting all of you to do the same. In my travels across Asia, I was so touched by all of the girls and women who wanted to share their stories with me. In Laos, I met women who worked all day clearing landmines and unexploded ordnances still left from the Vietnam War. Do these women have children? Yeah?
Only her has children.
In Sri Lanka, I met women who worked in a dairy for 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, many who had lost their husbands to the war. We traveled to desolate areas in Vietnam where I met a widowed mother of 6 who works all day pulling bark off of trees with her bare hands for the paper mills.
Very hard
Let
work.
me see. These are the children who were orphaned in the tsunami. Who opened their schools, their hearts, and their minds to Cassandra's angel. No matter what the stories are that make her sad and cry, she has a bright light inside of her heart. And together, we all found our bright lights and chose to shine for the world. And the most memorable was my last stop in Cambodia. I was invited to Somali Mom's shelter for girls who have been rescued from being sex slaves. I met 6 brave girls who for the first time ever shared their horrific stories. 19-year-old So Kim Na shared with me that at 4 years old she was attacked by a group of men, repeatedly raped, and then sold to a brothel where she was forced to service between 20 and 25 men per night.
It's not feeling comfortable to talk about these things with the others. It's the first time that she had to learn to talk and reveal for her entire life too.
Tell her thank you. Thank you. I tell her it's an honor. It's an honor. When we tell our story, it makes love.
She said it's not finished yet.
Okay, we're right here. We're not going anywhere. Tell her, tell her.
have a hot, warm pocket. So if you want to hold everybody, so just have a warm feeling.
Here you have a very creative woman, Gina Otto, who has written a best-selling children's book, who is turning it into a Broadway musical, who has managed to create and establish a partnership with the Girl Scouts, and has slowly put together all of the elements to create the basis for a big, huge idea, which really is going to change the world, which is going to change the way that young girls interact with one another between the United States and other countries around the world. It's not easy to put on a Broadway musical. It's not easy to create a world movement. It's not easy to write a book. And Gina has managing to do all of these things almost single-handedly, but now more and more people are beginning to help with this idea because everyone sees how much merit it has. And I believe that this is going to create a huge movement that will be very, very successful very, very soon.
This story is not over yet. In fact, it's just beginning. We need your voice too. We need your bright light.
From this moment,
You will not dictate to me
How I feel about myself.
ever, ever, ever again. I know who I am.
I'm becoming who I am.
I'm learning who I am.
I am a bright light.
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 And I'm ready to shine.
I am ready to shine. And I am ready to shine.